Hello again, Rayclast. Ah, Faustus. It'll be a pleasure doing business with you.
Yo, what is up, guys? It's Spicy Sushi. So today I wanted to go over my not really predictions, my, hopes for the reveal tomorrow, things they might do. Probably won't happen, but these are things in no particular order that I wrote down today that I really do hope they add to the game / fix in the game. But yeah, probably won't happen. No particular order. Number one, I really want a rework of Bestiary. It is probably one of the most outdated mechanics, maybe the most outdated mechanic in the game with how it functions. Bottling yellow beasts is absolute hell if you've never done it. I can't believe people actually still do it for the settle shop, but I'm very thankful to those people. They're probably destroying their wrists with carpal tunnel, bottling yellow beasts and pokeballs for hours. I don't even know how this hasn't been updated at this point. It is so absurdly miserable to do. But I do appreciate people that do it. You know what you should do, GGG? This is what you do. You do, you turn, Cray Kick, Ferric, all that stuff. You just make it beast blood, okay? When you kill beasts, you collect beast blood. Just like how with harvest, you have harvest juice, and then you do all the beast crafts with different blood. So you'd have to, make each craft, a different blood, and maybe it takes some yellow blood. Like, I don't know if you call it yellow blood, but whatever, like yellow beasts drop like common blood or something, and then ferret, cray kick, whatever, the spider one, make it blood, okay? Now, you're probably asking, like, well, what do you do for these stuff like Vivid Vultures from the Harvest Memory? Well, you literally delete them from the game. Yeah, remove them from Path of Exile. Vivid Vultures are actually the most miserable crafting experience in Path of Exile. I hate so much having to sit in the menagerie all league long, rolling mirror items. But in all seriousness, there are actually some good crafts, like the Watcher's Eye mod re-rolling and, others. So, maybe just make them use that same type of blood, but you have to also have a special currency, like how Harvest, you have Oshabi drops a special currency to do the higher tier crafts. Maybe the Bestiary bosses, which if you didn't know, yeah, there's actually three or more Bestiary bosses. They drop like currency for their respective crafts. And you can still do those, all right? So maybe not remove them. I would love Vivid Vultures to be gone, though. I'd be free, but in all seriousness, probably just do that. And I think that would be a pretty solid system and pretty painless for most people. Number two, please add synthesis items back to the synthesis lead mechanic. I'm not sure exactly what happened down the line leading up to 3.24, but it started way back when they removed synth items from, the lesser synth maps that weren't Cortex. And then this evolved into actual Cortex mobs no longer dropping synth items. And now we literally have Uber Cortex not dropping a single synth item. It feels a little bit awkward when Ritual, Harvest, and like Div cards are the primary source for synth items and not literally the Synthesis League mechanic. Anyway, next thing, remove T17s from the game. Completely, just delete them. But, slightly joking, but seriously, I think T17s were in a pretty okay spot at the start of 3.24. They existed as like a higher tier bossing content that didn't have the crazy damage reduction stuff that Ubers had, so you could farm them for fragments on like a bossing build that didn't really have a lot of DPS, but maybe one that you dipped more into like tankiness and survivability, rather than the ZHP Uber bossing meta that currently exists, at least like in softcore trade. Probably exists in hardcore, to be honest, too, since you just one-shot the boss. It was pretty cool, honestly, before, I don't know, I guess I call it the FUB gunning or something, because after MF was declared dead, it's like suddenly T17s were just buffed out of this world, completely dwarfed T16s. It made no sense, so I would just like that to be fixed, maybe brought back to their former state. I hope they do something like that, because honestly, half the mods on T17s need to just be removed. It's nice to have a chaos sync like this in the game, but to this degree is a bit absurd, and not to mention how just much more money you make in T17s than T16s. Back in Ritual, I think we had one of the best ecosystems when it came to like economy in the game. Even if you were like Alk and Go Harby running, doing Harbingers and Valdo's Rest or whatever, you were making like, I don't know, 5 to 6 divines an hour. But the people that were farming like the highest tier content in the game, fractured mapping, absolute juice, takes a while to set up. You need an amazing build, headhunter juice. You were still only making like 20 to 30 divines, like only 5 times, only like 3 to 5 times more money. Now, if you're not doing T17s, you are literally making like 10 times less. And you may not care about that, but just think of the fact that you can literally put in like 30 hours into a T16 farm right now, 30 hours of your life, an entire week basically, coming home from work doing T16s every night, and Fubgun just made your entire week's worth of currency in a few hours. You know, he just took his first coffee break and he's already made more money than you this entire week, right? So T17s are so much more money than T16s. They need to be completely reworked because I don't think something like that should exist. It creates absolutely disgusting FOMO, you know, fear of missing out. And so I really don't think the whole, like, I just don't care, you know, I just do what I do, you know, I just do what I want to do. I don't think that really works in this scenario, especially with how painful it is to actually set up T17s. You know, you could have that attitude back in Ritual League. You could just go do Alch and Go. You would really not be making that much less. And if you were having a better time doing that, you could do it. Now it's like just completely out of proportion, in my opinion. Anyway. Next thing, please add Trans Spark, which will convert 100% of Lightning to Chaos. We all miss Poison Spark. Why did you have to nerf our boy? I know you can make it still in the game. You know, it's not dead completely, but, you know, it's not really good until you get an Original Sin, so I really would love them to just add that Trans Spark. I don't know why Poison Spark is still dead. I thought this was going to be one of the first Trans Gems to ever exist, because that was such a staple build in the game. It's kind of nuts. But anyway, next. Go ahead and just add an anoint that says all damage can poison, you know, or, you know, at least some new heist spaces like a bow that has all elemental damage can poison, like the claw, you know, something like that. Anyway, next thing, make chaos skills good again. And no, I don't mean poison skills. I mean actual chaos skills. I miss playing ED Contagion. At this point, I feel like I won't be playing ED Contagion again until PoE 2, and that's pretty depressing. Next thing, remove back to basics from the game. Completely remove it. I don't care if this is a hot take, but I think the concept of removing content from your map to get the most loot in the game is a ridiculous concept in an ARPG. I don't think that makes sense at all. You know, I think it'd be okay if it was like for some niche farm, like maybe if instead of just, you know, increasing everything, maybe it only increased the loot from bosses, and so then it could be like for a niche strat like boss rushing, something like that. In the place of an ARPG, I think you should get more loot when you have more stuff in your map. I don't think it makes sense otherwise. On the other hand, it is the only thing that kept Magic Find relevant. So Magic Find definitely needs some love. Maybe the 6th map device slot is going to help that, or whatever they're cooking up. I'm sure they're going to bring MF back to where it's not entirely reliant on back to basics, since you have to spend all of your map slots for like div card scarabs and stuff, you know. But anyway, last thing, please be a rewarding lead mechanic from the first day. Please, please, GGG. Ancestors was the last time we had an out-of-map league mechanic, and it really sucks how you had to grind for such a long time before it became good. It makes you feel like trash grinding the ranks up week 1 when everyone else is getting like 5 to 10 times the loot as you, while good uniques are skyrocketing and you're making like 20 chaos per hour. It feels pretty bad. Anyway, that's about all I wanted to cover today. I've had that. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Hopefully in the reveal, at least one of these things are done. If not, it's whatever. It's not like I haven't been dealing with that for many leagues already. But, you know, this is just some hopes that I have. Anyway, love you guys. I will see you tomorrow at the reveal. Bye-bye.